right, South Carolina and Vandy, man. The next test on the SEC schedule for the Lady Gamecocks, man. That's what we're here to talk about, man. It's your boy Coach I. That's my guy KB. Welcome into Chuckin Buckets. What's going on, KB?
Man, nothing much, man. How you doing?
Hey, man. We wrapping up this SEC season, or it's coming to a close, man. Getting ready for this SEC women's basketball tourney. So the games are getting interesting, man. So I'm ready to talk about this preview, man. South Carolina getting back on track. You know what I'm saying, after a lackluster performance Sunday versus the Huskies. So I'm ready to jump into it, man. You are doing good tonight?
Oh yeah, man. Real good, man. Ready to jump into it, man. See if we can get back on track with these Gamecocks.
That's right, man. So let's go ahead and spin that intro. Chucking Buckets. You know how we get down, man. Just to let you know, today's episode brought to you by Swipe Fast. That's swipe with a Y. Swipe Fast. If you're looking for a way to keep majority of that hard-earned profit, you know what I'm saying, and still continue to grow your business, check out Swipe Fast. It's a merchant services company that's got over 26 years of combined experience helping businesses of all sizes, man, with debit card, credit card processing, things of that ways, in the most efficient and cost saving ways, man. So whether you're a restaurant, retail store, e-commerce, or you process business to business payments, Swipe Fast has a solution to fit all the needs, man. You can visit them at swipefast.com. That's swipe with a Y, fast.com. Or you can just call them at 1-800-597-0713. No strings attached, and get you a cost analysis. Don't forget about ask about that revolutionary price and cash discount too, man. It's saved business owners up to 99% of the current processing fees. Let them know Chuckin Bucket sent you, man. Now back to the regular scheduled program. All right, man. We back in here for Chuckin Buckets on the Fan Addict Sports Network. Fan Addict Sports Network bring you all things SEC. Chuckin Buckets, man, is all things talking about the Lady Gamecocks basketball, man. That's right, man. We here to preview this South Carolina versus Vandy game, man. Like we were saying, man, South Carolina, we did a preview for the UConn game. We tried to give you some points on, we always try to give some points on how South Carolina can win and how the other team might upset South Carolina. And a lot of that stuff came through. We talked about the rebounding, the 3-point shooting, guard play, things like that, man. And so South Carolina got back on track though, KB, with a big win against Arkansas, and they corrected a lot of the stuff that they did wrong against UConn. Just look at some of them stats, man, and I get it. Arkansas definitely isn't the opponent that UConn is, but it's still good to have that mentality and get some of these things corrected, because like against UConn, they got massively out rebounded. You know what I'm saying? UConn was on the offensive glass 15-6 and the defensive glass 33-23. But then they flipped that over against Arkansas and they dominated the glass 23-6 on the offensive glass and 34-22 on the defensive glass. So things like that can help you get back on track, right? Even if the opponent ain't the same.
Right. No, yeah. Great point as far as the opponent not being the same, but there's still an opportunity to get better, still an opportunity to dominate, saying this particular opponent. And you gotta win the games that you gotta win. And this is just one of those games. It is a bounce back game for the Lady Gamecocks against Arkansas. And to your point, man, they needed to see some improvements coming off that UConn game with rebounding, also getting into their sets, getting the assist up, getting on the fast break, and I think we did see that coming out of this coming out of this Arkansas game, and just really a bounce back and just kind of getting back to the basics. Unfortunately, it sounds like we done said that a lot over the last couple of weeks. Just back to the basics. Come off the Texas loss, play Florida, bounce back, come to UConn. Now we're bouncing back again, but hopefully they get back in the groove and can keep this thing moving going into the tournament in a couple of weeks.
Right. Listen to the post game interview with Malaysia Fawali, man, and it sounds like mentally, at least, they back on track and not gonna lose it, because they all, she said, they all agreed to do whatever it takes to get started fast and try to get the wins going forward, and that's gonna help going into this SEC tournament, man. So let's talk about Vandy though, man. Like Vandy is another one of these teams when they playing against the Gamecocks, man. They have vastly overmatched, KB. I mean, Now don't get it twisted. Blake, here's a like name Blake for
Yeah,
Vanderbilt, the freshman.
yeah, nice with it. Nice.
Sensational. You know, sensational. Definitely in the run-ins, if not in the lead for freshman of the year in the SEC. Possibly, who knows, freshman of the year in the country. I know Joyce Edwards is going to be in that conversation too. But this girl, man, overall averaging 23 points a game, but in SEC play, she stepped it up 28 points a game. I mean, dropping the 55 burger, man. You know what I'm saying? Like this girl know how to put it in the hoop. Do she have help though, KB?
Man, I don't think she's got enough help. I mean, she's got a post player down low, Camille Pierre, averaging like I think 21-9, something like that. But it's gonna take more than that. Like you're gonna have to get about four of those ladies into double figures. I think Blake needs to go for at least 25. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think she gotta go for 35 to 50. But it's gotta be a team effort because we know how the Lady Gamecocks can kind of focus in on some key players, possibly having Bree starting out on defense. And like I said, if Blake can get her points, like they got to get points from somewhere else, and it's going to allow that opportunity for other girls to step up, maybe hit some open shots or just some one-on-one opportunities.
Right. Scoring for Blake is definitely a must and hitting that outside shot. They're averaging making 7 threes a game. We saw in the UCLA game versus South Carolina and the UConn game versus South Carolina that they were able to successfully knock down the tray ball. And it wasn't just that, but it definitely starts there. So Vandy, keys to victory for me, of course, Blake having a good game, hitting the outside three, and somebody got to step up down low. You know what I'm saying? We're not necessarily talking about scoring the points, but getting on that glass because we already know how good South Carolina, bigs are, at least offensively, man. And we've seen the weakness is getting, for them when they match up against some real good glass cleaners on that offensive side for the opponents. So that's what I'll say. Somebody for Vandy gonna have to get on the offensive glass. That's and Blake's got to have a game and they got to hit those shots. So if Vandy can do that, maybe they can, have a shot to win this thing. They are playing at home, like you and I talked about off camera. So hopefully that crowd. Normally, when the Lady Gamecocks roll to town, the crowd gets a little bigger than you normally have at your home court. You know what I'm saying? We saw it with Texas as well, was averaging about 7,000 fans a game, but then when Dawn and the crew rolled through, they sold it out and it helped them to victory. So we'll see if Vandy can do those things, man. I mean, they kind of been up and down. They just lost a lost a bad one to OU. You know what I'm saying? They lost by like 21.
Yeah, just some inconsistencies that we've seen. Like I said, I don't think we've seen any kind of like big time win from them in SEC since that little tip in against the Tennessee team, maybe a
Mm-hmm.
few weeks back. But yeah, just up and down. I'm not sure if that speaks to coaching or whatever that looks like. I've seen them play just a few times this year, but yeah, we'll see what they got.
Right. Now on to the other side, man. Again, at this time of the year, man, what you want from your team, especially contending type teams for SEC titles, national titles, you want to start being a little bit more consistent. And you alluded to it when we was talking about Vandy keys of victory about how South Carolina kind of been, this like, hey, we lost one, let's get back on track with Florida. Lost one, let's get back on track with Arkansas. Got to get to a point now, and fortunately, there is no Texas, there is no UConn on the schedule going forward. But rolling into the tournament, I think one of the things keys to victory is consistency. You know what I'm saying? Like they didn't move the ball well against UConn. That all changed against Arkansas. Again, not the same type of opponent. We know that, but it's still
Right.
good to get in those habits, creating good habits. You know what I'm saying? Like against UConn, they only had like what was it? Let me look at this. The assists, they only had 7 assists. But then you come in tonight and you have 27 assists. You know what I'm saying? That's a start different. That's moving the ball. That's people moving on offense, not being stagnant. So I think that's one of the keys for South Carolina, just being consistently consistent. You know what I'm saying? Like just
Right.
doing the things the right way, moving the ball on offense, and then also attacking the glass because they vastly out rebounded the Arkansas Razorbacks tonight.
Yeah. No, those are two things I think as well. Like moving the ball, getting the assist, got to win the assist game, got to win the turnover battle. But I think we got to see some fast break points though too at the same time because the Lady Gamecocks are definitely better when they're in the fast break mode, whether it's coming up the sideline, whether it's coming down the middle. You get for Wally on the going down the sideline doing her thing, but half court offense, got to keep the ball moving. I think we've seen some opportunities, not to go back too much to that UConn game, but when the ball just sticks there, they get in trouble. It's only a couple girls that probably can just go off the dribble outside of Wally, but they better when they're moving that ball around and kind of getting into their sets.
So what you saying there, man? Let me ask you this. So we know watching Tennessee, their mo is to run all game, regardless of the score. They run it all game. They trying to press, and I know that's a part of being up tempo. Tonight, when watching the Gamecocks, when they was in transition mode, up tempo, I mean the game looked easy. Again, I know some people can be like, well, it was Arkansas, of course it looked easy, but I'm just saying styles of play. South Carolina goes 10, 11 deep, and we've always said they don't have a problem running when they want to run. Why why don't we see that more often? Like against UConn, that was one of the problems UConn actually had a couple of weeks before South Carolina versus Tennessee was the
Right.
pace of the game because UConn only uses about 7 or 8 girls. You know what I'm saying? So why don't we see that more from South Carolina considering how deep they are?
I think we're starting to see it a little more going late into the season, but with the group that starts the game versus the bench players that come off, we don't really see it until kind of like Joyce gets in the game, right? Till for Wally gets in the game,
Right.
and even Tessa to a certain degree, and then we see Raven passing that thing up because Joyce just straight rim runner type style, which you don't really get that out of Fagan and even Chloe to a certain degree. They'll run the court, but Joyce run the court, that's a little bit different. You know what I'm saying with that
Right.
hand coming up and then Raven putting it right there on the spot. So I think it's just a difference between that first group and the second group. But I think going into the tournament, we got to see that. We got to see more Joyce. We got to see more even Tessa for Wally. In certain moments. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying we got to see that the full game, but we got to see them in
Right.
moments between the end of that second half or the end of that second quarter and the beginning of the third quarter, like that middle what they call it, the middle eighth or
Middle
something
eight.
like
Yeah, the
that.
middle eight. Last four of the first half, first four of the second half.
Right, right. 'Cause I do think, man, going even past this year, I think that's kind of the future and kind of what the Gamecocks look like going forward as we get more
Mm.
recruits in, like Joyce maybe coming into their starting role, maybe even going to next year once maybe Fagan leaves, depending on how Chloe and obviously the injury with Watkins, what I'm saying we got to see how that unfolds as well. But Watkins, what I'm saying she can run the floor as well once she gets in. But I do see in the future, next couple of years, we see more running gun type style versus the straight big down low that we've seen in the last few years.
Right, and the talent that South Carolina has, I think it lends itself to that. I think there would be a better version. I'm not saying they should full court press the whole game, but at least push
Right.
the pace. You remember those men's team from North Carolina back in the day. It don't matter if you make the shot or miss the shot. They was getting the ball out and
No.
going. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's like 2 or 3 passes, they trying to get a shot off. And I'm not saying you want to be helter skelter, but one of the things we've seen from the Lady Gamecocks this year against the other elite teams is when they got a big presence down low, like an Old Acre from Texas, like a Sarah Strong, like the girl from UCLA is. I feel like if you push in those moments, of course, I'm not questioning Dawn. She's the GOAT, you know what I'm saying? She knows what she's doing, but I'm like, we're going 10 deep. Let's use all 10, you know what I'm saying? Let's push these girls. Let's see if these other big girls can run when they're trying to clean up and get you in and see if you can still clean up on this offensive glass because they are kind of I ain't gonna say outmatched, but outsized or out you know what I'm saying, they ain't got that physical presence. Like Cardoso was a physical presence, you know what I'm saying? Boston
Right.
was a physical
Yeah. Hey,
presence. Like Joyce is good. It's like all the Gamecock ladies are really good on offense and they're good on defense, but they're not that physical presence to make you stop and think, hey, I might not want to go to the hole this time.
right, right. It's hard to teach like 6'7", 6'8", which we don't really, have that presence,
Right,
that physical body until we got Tack on the bench. But she's not just not ready yet. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Physically, to kind of match up with those things, and hopefully that comes to fruition over the next year or two for her. But for right now, we got to roll with what we got. And like I said, we the
Big
deepest
facts, man.
in the country, so let's do it. Let's use it.
Right. With that said, man, we're gonna get over to these predictions, man. I think you told me coming into the Arkansas game, the Gamecocks was picked or favored to win by like upwards of 40 points, and they actually covered that spread. The spread isn't out yet for this Vandy game. I'm pretty sure it'll come out in the next 12 to 18 hours, but I don't see why this wouldn't be a 20 plus point spread there, KB. So my prediction is, of course, the Gamecocks get a win. I think they are mentally getting focused for that tourney, man. You know what I'm saying, and putting the things together. I think after having an embarrassing loss like the UConn, it kind of makes those great teams really refocus. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I look for the Gamecocks to be focused. I look for Joyce, of course, to have a big game. I look for Wally to have another put big good games, because she had a really good game against Arkansas, feeding her teammates, making some of those spectacular plays. I look for her to do that, you know, again on Sunday playing against Vandy, and I think the Gamecocks get an easy win here, at least by 20.
Yeah, I can definitely see that as well. 20-point game easily. I think it's a great point you bring up about for Wiley, because I think she builds off of confidence, right? Like when she's down, she's down. Unfortunately, she needs a good game to kind of bounce back. Bounce back with the Arkansas game. Got a couple of, I think, and ones as well. Had the alley oop play
Right.
before, so that was a good little play. But I agree. I think she carries that on going into the next game, and hopefully that just carries on in the next couple games, even to the last Kentucky game at the end of the season, and then obviously to the tournament.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So overall, like I say, I think this game is more about the Gamecocks than it is about Vandy. You know what I'm saying? About them being themselves, playing within their game. You know, hopefully they get up early and can test out some of these things, like playing more of the bench, you know, getting Maddie in the game. Like her time has been building. She can push that pace too. I
Yeah,
like what I saw from Raven tonight, getting in the paint and creating for her teammates. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of been here and there, especially against the other elite teams. So I think this is, like I say, this is just a continue to build game for South Carolina, man. Y'all make sure that y'all are tuning in with us, man, live on March the 3rd, 8 o'clock p.m. That's right. That's the Monday right after the last regular season game versus Kentucky. We'll know all the seeds for the SEC women's tournament, and we'll be talking about the SEC women's tournament and how South Carolina can maneuver that tournament and win another SEC tournament championship leading into the NCAAs. So make sure y'all tap in with us, man. Live, Chuckin Buckets live on March the 3rd, man. So KB, you got anything else before we get up out of here?
no, that's it, man. Another good one in the books, man.
All right, y'all make sure y'all get in them comments, man. Tell us who y'all think need to have a more consistent showing this coming Sunday versus Vandy. And if you think Vandy has a chance, you know, with Blake being more than likely the freshman of the year in the conference, is considering the points she's been putting up. So let us know, hit the like button and subscribe, and bring more Gamecocks to the show, man. For my guy KB, this is Coach I, Chuckin Buckets. We out of here.